In this video, we'll uncover the most valuable wheat pennies you should be on the lookout for. We'll break down what makes these coins so special, how much they're worth in today's market, and what you need to know to sell them successfully at auction. First up, we have the 1946 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny. This coin is part of the iconic Lincoln Wheat Penny series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. What makes this specific 1946 penny especially noteworthy is its large date variety, and more intriguingly, its value in today's auction market even in less than perfect condition. Let's start with some historical context. The Lincoln Wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse features a bust of President Lincoln, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse shows two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots, and the phrase, 1 cent. This design remained in circulation until 1958 when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which you may be more familiar with. Now, when we fast forward to 1946, the country was recovering from the aftermath of World War II, a time of economic growth and change. The coin itself, while not particularly rare in terms of mintage, holds tremendous significance for collectors today, especially when we look at certain variations like the large date variety. The 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted in large quantities, with over 1 billion coins produced. However, what sets the large date version apart is its noticeable difference in the size of the numbers in the date, specifically the 4 and 6. The large date is believed to have been caused by a different die being used, which resulted in these larger digits being struck on the coin. Now, when we discuss the market value of the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny, it's important to note that the condition of the coin greatly affects its price. This particular penny, in a dirty, rusty, and well-worn condition, might not fetch top dollar, but it still holds value due to its rarity and desirability among collectors. A penny like this, in its current dirty or rusty condition, might seem far from appealing to most casual collectors. But, believe it or not, it still holds market value, especially when you consider that some collectors are willing to pay for coins with unique aging or wear patterns that tell a story of time past. In today's auction market, this coin could range from $59,000 depending on specific characteristics, such as the level of corrosion, its wear patterns, and how prominent the large date is. The 1946 large date no mint mark penny has a mintage of around 1 billion, which may seem high, but this doesn't diminish its appeal. Even in worn, rusty conditions, collectors appreciate the story behind each coin and its role in U.S. numismatic history. Its relatively low cost is the reason why many collectors strive to own one, not just for investment, but for the historical significance it carries. Collectors often seek these pennies not only because of their age, but also due to the appeal of the wheat design, which many believe signifies the strength of America's agricultural and economic past. Despite its wear and tear, the coin's distinct look in its worn form gives it a level of uniqueness that attracts a niche segment of collectors looking to own a piece of history. The design, as we mentioned before, was created by Brenner and features Lincoln's portrait on the front. But there are other important design elements to note. The reverse of the coin displays two sheaves of wheat with E pluribus unum. Across the top, a motto adopted from the Great Seal of the United States. As mentioned, this coin's large date variation comes from the size difference between the numbers 4 and 6, and collectors often seek out these subtle differences to complete their sets. It is also important to mention that this penny, even in its dirty and rusty condition, has something collectors call character. This could include natural toning or a unique oxidation pattern that could influence its final value. So while a mint condition coin of this variety can go for a higher price, even one in poor condition still retains value for those who appreciate the history and rarity it represents. What's most interesting about the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny, especially in its worn condition, is the level of interest among coin collectors. Many collectors specialize in problem coins, which are coins that show signs of corrosion, rust, or wear, but still hold historical or monetary value. A coin like this could easily find its way into a collection, as many enthusiasts are drawn to the authenticity and unique characteristics found in worn pennies. Next, we have the 1945 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny, another classic piece from the same series. But this one has something special about it. This one is in much better condition, which makes it even more exciting for coin collectors and investors alike. Let's start with the historical context again. The 1920s were a period of rapid change in the United States. The Great Depression was still years away, and the country was in the midst of a booming economy. The 1945 penny, minted as part of the ongoing Lincoln Wheat series, features the same design as the other coins in the series, but with some distinct differences. The coin's obverse displays Lincoln's bust, while the reverse features the iconic wheat stalks. But what makes this coin particularly valuable is its year of issue and the condition it has been preserved in. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny had a relatively moderate mintage, but it's the quality of the coin and the presence of a few rarer characteristics that make it worth more than other pennies from this era. In total, about 100,001,945 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, meaning it isn't extremely rare. However, what makes it valuable today is its condition and specific features that set it apart. Coins in very good condition, like the one we have here, are much less common than those that have been heavily circulated. Coins like this one in very good condition can range from $66,000 to several $100s in the auction market, depending on the level of preservation. While this isn't the most valuable penny in the Lincoln Wheat series, it is still considered a sought-after coin for collectors of all experience levels. Its market value could skyrocket if it's a rare variety or if there's a specific error that appeals to niche collectors. The design of the 1945 penny is quite similar to other wheat pennies, with the only major difference being its age and the level of preservation. It still features Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, but collectors often look for subtle details such as die varieties, the condition of the design, and even small errors in minting. For example, one of the more common errors on the 1945 pennies is the misalignment of the design, which could lead to a slightly off-center strike. These errors make the coin even more valuable to those who specialize in error coins. Coins in very good condition, such as this one, are usually clean and have minimal wear. The Lincoln portrait should still be easily recognizable, and the wheat design on the reverse should show good detail. The overall color should be a rich copper tone, which is typical of these coins when in good condition. The next coin on our list is the 1939 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny. While it may seem like a regular coin at first glance, when we take a closer look, we uncover the factors that make this particular coin extraordinarily valuable. Let's dive into its history and what sets this coin apart from the thousands of other pennies minted in the same year. The 1939 Lincoln Wheat Penny is part of the series that was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. This coin has a deep historical significance, honoring the United States' 16th president, a symbol of unity and strength during one of the most turbulent periods in American history, the Civil War. In 1939, the U.S. Mint produced over 684 million Lincoln Wheat pennies. While this might seem like a large number, the key to the coin's value is not its mintage, but rather specific characteristics and errors found in certain coins from that year. For the 1939 large date variety, the minting process led to subtle but important distinctions that collectors pay a premium for today. The 1939 large date is the more commonly known variety of this year. Its design is similar to all the wheat pennies in circulation from 1909 through 1958, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse. However, the subtle difference between the large date and small date versions of this coin comes down to the shape and spacing of the numerals in the date. The large date variety is characterized by the 9 and 3 in the year being more pronounced and wider than their small date counterparts. Though this may seem like a small detail, it plays a significant role in the coin's value, as collectors are very particular about these distinctions. But what really makes this particular coin stand out is its condition. A 1939 Lincoln Wheat penny in fine condition is typically valued much higher than a coin in lesser grades. The fine condition classification indicates that the coin has moderate wear, but the details of Lincoln's portrait, the date, and the wheat stalks are still discernible, which makes it more attractive to collectors. As of today, a 1939 Lincoln wheat penny in fine condition can command a significant sum in today's auction market. While coins of this era are relatively common, the large date variety, especially in good condition, tends to draw the attention of serious collectors. Based on recent auction data, a 1939 large date without a mint mark can fetch anywhere from $25,000 to $32,000 depending on the specific grade and demand. In the higher-end market, particularly for coins with exceptional eye appeal, the value can exceed these figures. The overall value of these coins is also influenced by factors such as rarity, overall demand, and historical significance. While the 1939 large date isn't the rarest coin in the series, its quality and condition can significantly impact its auction price. Some coins have been known to sell for as much as $49,000 or even more if they're graded as extremely fine or higher, especially with mint errors like a doubled die or other rare flaws. The 1939 Lincoln wheat penny is incredibly popular among collectors due to its design and historical relevance. It's one of the more widely collected pennies from the late 1930s, and its status as part of the iconic Lincoln wheat penny series only adds to its appeal. Collectors who focus on this era tend to be interested in various factors such as the minting process, die varieties, and the coin's overall condition. For instance, a 1939 penny in uncirculated condition can be highly sought after, while those with unique mint errors can draw attention for their rarity and the opportunity they present for serious numismatists. The 1939 large date is an excellent coin for both beginner and advanced collectors, and if you're lucky enough to find one in your collection or through an auction, you're in for a treat. Next up, we have the 1953 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, another coin that may seem common at first glance, but holds hidden value, especially when we look at the specific condition and characteristics. This penny, in its large date variety, might not be as old as the 1939, but it still plays a significant role in the coin collecting world. Let's dive in. The 1953 Lincoln wheat penny was produced during the final years of the wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. By this time, the United States Mint was in full swing, producing pennies in high numbers to accommodate the booming economy of the post-World War II era. Over 1,001,953 Lincoln wheat pennies were minted. But again, it's not the mintage that defines the value, rather the condition, variety, and specific market trends that dictate how much collectors are willing to pay. Like all Lincoln wheat pennies, the 1953 version features the beloved portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side, depicting two wheat stalks, represents the country's agricultural heritage. However, the 1953 large date variety is distinctive for its date numerals. Similar to the 1939, the digits of 1953 in the large date are more spread out and larger than those of the small date variety. The coin's dirty condition may affect its appearance, but it does not necessarily reduce its value drastically. Some collectors are willing to accept coins in less than perfect condition as long as the date and key features are still visible. Dirty condition typically refers to a coin that has some wear or dirt buildup from circulation, but hasn't been overly damaged or cleaned inappropriately. Many collectors see these coins as opportunities to restore them to their full potential, adding even more value. The value of a 1953 Lincoln wheat penny in dirty condition is a bit more difficult to estimate, as it depends on factors like the level of dirt or tarnish, as well as how well the coin holds its design features. Generally speaking, a 1953 large date in dirty condition is worth less than one in a cleaner, better preserved state. On average, these coins typically sell for around $17,000 at auction. However, if the coin is particularly rare, such as having an error or a unique die variety, the market value could be higher. In better condition or if professionally cleaned and graded, the coin could easily fetch between $21,000 or even more, depending on collector interest. The 1953 Lincoln wheat penny, while not as valuable as some of the rarer coins from the 1909 to 1930 era, is still highly collectible. Collectors who focus on completing sets or those who specialize in post-Spyhouse coins often seek out varieties from the 1950s. While the 1953 large date is not a major error coin in and of itself, it does offer collectors an opportunity to obtain a key piece from a critical period in U.S. coinage history. Overall, while the 1953 large date in dirty condition may not fetch as much as its better preserved counterparts, it still holds an important place in any serious collector's collection. Its affordability makes it an excellent entry point for newer collectors looking to get their hands on a piece of American coinage history. Next up, the 1956 Wheat Penny. This coin is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. The series was introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it marked the first time a U.S. coin featured a real person's portrait, a bold move at the time. The obverse of the coin features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Lincoln, while the reverse showcases two stalks of wheat, hence the name Wheat Penny. The 1956 issue is particularly interesting because it was minted during a time of economic growth in the U.S. following World War II. This was also the last year before the design was slightly modified, making it a key date for collectors. The 1956 Wheat Penny had a massive montage of over 1.5 billion coins, making it one of the most common dates in the series. However, the value of this coin skyrockets when you consider its condition and variety. The large date variety, which we're focusing on today, is slightly rarer than the small date, and coins without a mint mark were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The absence of a mint mark indicates that this coin was minted in Philadelphia, which didn't use mint marks at the time. While millions were produced, finding one in pristine red condition is incredibly rare. So how much is this coin worth? Well, a typical 1956 wheat penny in circulated condition might only fetch a few cents. But in uncirculated red condition, this coin can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. For example, a 1956 wheat penny graded MS65 red by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC recently sold at auction for over 1,501 in MS, negative 67 red. You could be looking at a value of $50,000. The red color refers to the original copper luster, which fades over time due to oxidation and handling. Coins that retain this vibrant red hue are highly prized by collectors. The large date variety is distinguishable by the size and spacing of the numbers in the date. On the large date, the 9 and 5 are slightly taller and closer together compared to the small date variety. While the 1956 wheat penny isn't known for major errors, there are a few varieties that collectors look for. These include double dies, repunched mint marks, though rare for this date, and off-center strikes. Any of these errors can significantly increase the coin's value. For example, a 1956 wheat penny with a doubled die, obverse could be worth several $100,000, depending on its condition. The 1956 wheat penny is a favorite among collectors for several reasons. First, it's one of the last issues of the wheat penny series, making it historically significant. Second, its availability in high grades makes it a great target for those building a top-tier collection. And finally, the potential for finding a rare red coin adds an element of excitement to the hunt. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1956 wheat penny is a coin worth keeping an eye out for. Who knows? You might just have a small fortune hiding in your pocket change. Next up, we have the 1936 wheat penny. This coin was minted during the Great Depression, a time when the U.S. economy was struggling and coin production was relatively low compared to other years. Despite the economic challenges, the 1936 wheat penny remains a popular collectible due to its historical significance and unique characteristics. The 1930s were a tough time for Americans, but the Lincoln wheat penny served as a small reminder of the nation's resilience. The design, which had been in use since 1909, was a symbol of stability during uncertain times. The 1936 wheat penny had a mintage of just over 309 million coins, all struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Like the 1956 issue, this coin doesn't have a mint mark. While 309 million might sound like a lot, many of these coins were heavily circulated, making high-grade examples rare today. The absence of a mint mark indicates that this coin was also produced in Philadelphia. Despite the relatively high mintage, finding a 1936 wheat penny in uncirculated condition is a challenge, which drives up its value. So what's this coin worth? In circulated condition, a 1936 wheat penny might only be worth a few dollars. But in uncirculated condition, its value increases significantly. For example, a 1936 wheat penny graded MS-65 recently sold at auction for over $200,000. Even in dirty or lightly circulated condition, this coin can still be worth a decent amount, especially if it has strong details and minimal wear. One thing to note about the 1936 issue is that it often has weaker strikes, particularly on Lincoln's cheek and the wheat stalks. This is due to the wear and tear on the dies used during production. The 1936 wheat penny is known for a few interesting varieties and errors. These include doubled dies, repunched mint marks, though rare for this date, and off-center strikes. One of the most notable varieties is the 1936 doubled die obverse, which features doubling on the date and lettering. This variety can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition. Another variety to look for is the 1936/S wheat penny, which was struck on a dime planche. These error coins are extremely rare and highly valuable. The 1936 wheat penny is a favorite among collectors for several reasons. First, its historical significance as a Depression-era coin makes it a fascinating piece of history. Second, its relatively low mintage compared to other years adds to its appeal. And finally, the potential for finding rare varieties or high-grade examples makes it a thrilling coin to hunt for. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1936 wheat penny is a coin that deserves a place in your collection. And who knows? You might just have a hidden gem in your pocket change, yo. Next up, we have the 1944 S large date wheat penny. This coin is a true gem in the world of numismatics, and for good reason. Let's start with its historical context. The year 1944 was a pivotal time in American history. World War II was raging, and the U.S. Mint was under pressure to produce coins efficiently while conserving resources. During this time, the Mint transitioned from using steel to bronze for penny production, as copper became more readily available again. This shift makes the 1944 wheat penny particularly interesting to collectors. Now, let's talk about the mintage. The San Francisco Mint produced 282,760,000 wheat pennies in 1944. While this might seem like a large number, the large date variety is significantly rarer. The large date is distinguished by its bold, prominent numbers in the date, especially the 4. This variety is highly sought after, especially in higher grades. But what makes this coin so valuable? Well, it's a combination of rarity, historical significance, and collector demand. In dirty condition, even a well-worn 1944 S large date wheat penny can fetch $58,000 at auction. However, if you're lucky enough to find one in uncirculated condition, the value skyrockets to $78,000 or more. Let's take a closer look at the design. The obverse features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been a staple of the penny since 1909. The reverse showcases the classic wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity and abundance. The large date variety is particularly notable for its bold, clear numerals. The 4 in the date has a distinct serif at the top, making it easily identifiable. This small detail is what sets it apart from the more common small date variety. While the 1944 S large date is already rare, there are a few errors and varieties that can make it even more valuable. One such variety is the 1944 S steel wheat penny. These were accidentally struck on leftover steel planches from 1943, and they're incredibly rare. If you find one, you could be looking at a coin worth $79,000 or more. Another error to look out for is double die obverse. This occurs when the die strikes the coin twice, creating a slightly blurred or doubled image. These errors are highly prized by collectors and can significantly increase the coin's value. The 1944 S large date wheat penny is a favorite among collectors for several reasons. Its historical significance ties it to a critical period in American history, and its rarity makes it a challenging and rewarding find. For those looking to add this coin to their collection, it's important to pay attention to the condition. Even in dirty or circulated condition, it holds significant value. But if you can find one in mint state, you've got a true treasure on your hands.